What is going on, guys? Red dots on handguns, that's what I'm going to talk about today. I might make this an entire long episode, but I thought if I don't, it's good to get it out for you guys. To dot or not to dot? Let me start out with the bottom phrase up front here. If you are serious about shooting a handgun and dedicated to it, yes. Unless there's some weird caveat that maybe I'll get to later, almost certainly yes. Yes, you should put a dot on your handgun. It is faster. It is not more accurate. If you align your sights absolutely precisely, which can take quite a long time, it's probably about the same. But it allows you to achieve that same level of accuracy quicker. So in the same amount of time, you're going to be more accurate, if that makes sense. So, yes, put a red dot on your handgun. And I was wrong about this for years. I was like, nah, they're junk, they're a gimmick. They're not a gimmick. I trained with one for just a little bit, and I was already out shooting my standards with iron sights. I've told that story before. But, yeah, they are better. They are a force multiplier. If you are serious about handgun shooting, you should put a dot on your handgun. When should you not? When you're not serious about handgun shooting. And this, sadly, is the majority of handgun owners. And if this is you, no worries. Just be honest with yourself. But you are probably going to make yourself slower with a dot if you don't train with a dot all the time. If you can't, throw the gun up in front of your face and see the dot every time, you're going to be slower because you're going to be fishing around for the dot like a blind man wandering on Lake Michigan in the winter trying to find an ice fishing hole that somebody else dug. It's not good. You have to be dedicated to it, just like handgun shooting in general. If you want to be a good handgun shooter, meaning fast, accurate, knowing when to balance speed and accuracy, that takes dedication. If you're that guy, then the dot is for you. If you're not that guy and you're just going to carry a gun to check a box and you were like, oh, I have a handgun, if a meth addict comes at me with a knife and gives me all the time in the world and gives me 3 to 5 seconds, I'm going to handle that situation, and I don't want to do any more than that. The dot is not for you. The dot's not going to help you. The dot's probably going to hurt you. Also, another one, if you are not dedicated to handgun training, which includes maintenance, probably don't get a red dot. The most bulletproof, bomb-proof red dot or optic that I know of is not actually a red dot. It's a green triangle, and it's the Trigicon dual illuminated. And even it requires some level of upkeep. It's glass, right? And glass gets dirty. The thing is crazy rugged, but it gets dirty, and you have to clean it. You have to clean it more than you would iron sights. So, you got to take out the Q-tips. You got to do the thing. You got to make sure the emitter is clean, So if you're shoving it in your pocket, probably don't run a dot. They're just going to get dirty. It's probably going to be worse than iron sights. So, yeah, there is that. And if you have one that takes a battery, there's the whole battery thing. So if you're not dedicated to the maintenance and the upkeep and the extra work, like if you carry a Glock because you never have to clean it, almost never, and you can squirt lube in it once a year and it works, if you're that guy, probably a dot is not for you. So there is that. There's also the extra size and weight and bulk of it. Now, they're not very heavy, but they're a few ounces, right? So there's that. There's cost. So if you are really, really on a budget, you're probably better off spending the, $500 at a good optics cost and dropping that on ammo and taking a training class. That's what's going to give you your most bang for your buck, not putting a dot on your gun. If you're untrained with iron sights and you get a dot, you're just going to be untrained with a dot. It's not really going to help you. So even if you're just training on your own and you can't afford a class or go to a competition, just buy the ammo and train and get a good set of standards and try and make yourself better. That is what I'm going to tell you there. So they cost more money, they're more upkeep, but they absolutely are better. They are faster. They allow you to have to do less to get a decent hit on target. And the less you have to do to achieve a hit, the faster you are going to be. That's just how it works, right? The whole talk about target focus thing, you generally can be target focused with iron sights too. You just have to know how to do it. If you need a very precise shot, you need to align your sights and everything. And if you're going for shooting a small group with a handgun, you want to be hard focused on the front sight. If you're, blasting inside of 20 yards, get away with, target focus on either one. But you don't have to align a dot. You just have to see the dot and put it where you want. And make sure it's there when you squeeze the trigger. You have to do less. So in short, should you put a dot on your handgun? If you're serious about handgun shooting and dedicated to it, yes. That's the answer to that question. And if you are not, then no is probably the answer to that question. And again, there may be situations where you may or may not go on that route, but like if you pocket carry, I probably wouldn't run an optic if I'm pocket carrying. I know how nasty pocket guns get. If you are really serious about shooting but not maintenance and not cleaning, be honest with yourself, and then a red dot is probably not for you. So, but the short answer is if you're dedicated to it, if you're hardcore about handgun shooting, yes. If you think you're just going to put a dot on your gun and be better, the answer is no. You have to be dedicated, and in the short term, you're probably going to get worse. And that's one of the things in training. You should be willing to get worse before you get better. That's how you get better, trying new things. When you try something new, you're not going to be perfect at it right away. And shooting with a dot is a skill. It's an additional skill that's kind of different than other things. So you should be confident in that skill and rock that skill. So with that, guys, thanks for listening and have a blessed day.